Hello, happy mom of Salt and Light. Welcome to our fourth date, restoring the biblical view of marriage. So for our fourth week, we're going to be focusing now on the relationship between us and our spouses. Now, a healthy family is when the family's center or the focus is on the husband and wife. When the husband and wife unite, a family is built. And in such family, healthy children grows out. The first step in marriage is really to leave. And for you to really leave, it requires a lot of will and determination. The life of a husband and wife, it is basically you're starting off your new family. Kailangan iwanan na natin ang ating pamilya pinaglakihan para magkaroon tayo ng bagong pamilya na ating gagawin itatagod. First off, please open your workbooks on our fourth date from page 20 and sana please sagutan ninyo ang page na ito. If you have not, please pause this video, sagutan muna ninyo, and then you can come back to it. If you have, please just continue on with my video lecture. Basahin muna natin ang Genesis 2:24 to 25. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. Adam and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. Live to be one body, one flesh. I have come across this saying that pag pumunta daw ng honeymoon ang isang bagong kasal, hindi lang daw dalawa ang nakahiga sa kama, 6 na raw. It is actually one of just a funny way of saying the family culture of immature people getting married. Kasi kadalas, when you get married at hindi natin nakapag-iwanan, hindi tayo lumuwas doon sa ating pamilya na pinagalingan natin, we tend to have, then that becomes the start of a lot of family conflicts. Kailangan, pag nagpakasal tayo, nagpag-asawa na tayo, ang focus natin is dapat nasa ating asawa. Dapat we're being very independent psychologically, financially, physically, and emotionally. Kailangan iwanan natin ang ating pamilya pinaglakihan from our parents. Leaving is the first step in marriage. Kailangan umalis. You have to leave the culture you grew up with. You have to leave the comfort zones na binigay ng mga magulang ninyo. Or you also have to leave the pain and this kind of dissatisfaction that you may have had from your parents. Kasi ngayon, mag-asawa na tayo, we're gonna start up a new life. Hindi ito parang extension ng ating buhay na pinaglakihan. You know, the biblical concept of leaving is hindi yung pag-aabandonado natin ang ating mga magulang or itataksil natin sila or kalimutan na natin ang ating mga responsibilidad bilang anak. Remember, we're forever children of our parents. We're forever responsible to respect and to take care of them when the time comes na kailangan talaga ng ating magulang ang ating mga tulong. Once nakapag-asawa na tayo, be ready to stand up on your own, instead of always relying from your parents. You know, mostly in Asian cultures, we are so prone, parang ang pinagyayabang natin is our pride for having the big family. And I think that's a very, very beautiful culture. I'm not against, nor the Bible against big families, because that's just the thing that makes the Asian culture very unique and very abundant and very healthy. However, the problem could be this. Kunwari, because of your responsibility na kailangan mo alagaan ng mga magulang mo, siguro for their health reasons or whatsoever, you might have to ask, am I forcing my responsibility as a child to my parents? Ito ba parang pinupush ko ba sa aking asawa na, hey, ngayon mag-asawa na tayo, ikaw naman ang tumulong sa magulang ko. Ikaw naman ang mag-alaga sa asawa, sa mga magulang ko. Because that can often happen. And us being a good child to our parents can equally cause sometimes the misery, sometimes even more stress to our spouses, at hindi na tayo masaya bilang mag-asawa. Then that is where we have to really say, wait, we have to reprioritize what should be our focus. We are obliged to be good children to our parents. However, when we get married, we have to be also prioritizing our spouses instead of always demanding and pushing our spouses to be a good child for our sarili nating mga magulang. So I hope there's no misunderstanding when I say leave your parents. Leave your parents from being dependent on them psychologically, physically, emotionally, socially, financially. Be independent, support your parents, help your parents, but prioritize is really the new family you're about to start. We tend to unite with the wrong people. We tend to force ourselves to maghanap tayo ng kakampi. Instead ng aking asawa maging kakampi ko, we tend to force our love, our focus to our children. And if that happens, then we'll have a very unhealthy social relationship between us and our children because ang mga inaasa natin na mag-fulfill to our emotional needs from our spouses, ito ay ina-expect natin sa ating mga anak, which then can be a very stressful factor to your children, causing them to be an unhealthy adult. Another social issue na naman. Or we can also have a tendency na maghanap tayo ng somebody to unite with, somebody that we can fully relate with, who is not our spouses. From other relationships such as friends or even neighbors, then that is gonna cause another sin, another temptation in the future. So, mayroon isang mag-asawa, bagong kasal. Pero ang lalaki, galing siya sa pamilya wherein yung tatay niya, very, very strict and never tumulong sa kanyang nanay. So, all the household chores from cleaning to cooking to laundry, even sa pagtatapon ng basura or pagdidilig ng mga halaman, lahat trabaho ng nanay niya. For him, it was very natural na ang lalaki pala hindi nagtutulong sa bahay. Samantala, ang pinag-asawa niyang babae, she grew up from a very different family culture. Pag weekends, yung tatay niya minsan nag-volunteer sa mommy niya na tumulong sa mga gawaing bahay. So the girl grew up from a family culture na, wow, ganito pala ang tatay ko at nanay ko nagtutulungan. Now, when these two people got married, the husband and the wife, then they started to fight. Kasi sabi ng lalaki sa asawa niya, napakadami mo naman gustong hiling. Ikaw, napakatamad mo naman yata. Hindi mo ba kaya gawin ang gawain sa bahay? Kinaya naman to ng nanay ko, but ikaw hindi mo kaya. On the other hand, yung babae naman is very upset na yung lalaki is never helping. So, sasabihin ng babae sa asawa niyang lalaki, bakit naman ikaw masyado kang selfish? Ang tatay ko, he was very willingly helping sa nanay ko. Pero ikaw, umuwi ka ng bahay, wala lang. Gusto mo lang mag-TV, magpalamig, mag-relax. Habang ako, wala akong oras na para makapaghinga. Puro ako trabaho sa bahay. Hindi mo ba ako kaya tulungan? So they started to fight. And I'm gonna tell you, this is the reason kung bakit kailangan talaga we have to leave our original family. Dahil ang away nilang mag-asawa, yung bagong kasal, it was neither their fault. Iba lang talaga ang kanilang culture na pinaglakihan. What they should have done was talk about it and redesign the new family that they're gonna build, that they're gonna start. If situations permit that the husband has to help the wife, he has to willingly help the wife. Meron din naman mga ibang sitwasyon na asawa mong lalaki hindi makapag-help sa babae, then that will be your new culture. Don't try to compare and extend your original family culture into the new culture of your new family that you're about to start. Talk to your spouses. You have to talk. You have to discuss how you want your family to be. You cannot expect the other person to know and fully understand you without you first trying to explain and also understanding the other person's culture na pinaglakihan nila. Kailangan you both have to sacrifice on your own by helping each one to understand ano ba ang kaibahan ng aming pinaglakihan and what do we want to get from our original culture na maganda at ito ang gusto ko ipagtuloy sa aming bagong pamilya. Another example was, there was a pastor who told us na nung nagbagong kasal daw sila, yung mag-asawa, they sat down and nilista nila lahat ng mga pangalan ng kanilang mga close friends at nag-share silang mag-asawa. Now, the wife had to tell her husband, honey, I respect na ito yung mga kaibigan mo, pero I don't think they are very beneficial sa buhay mo. Pwede bang bawasan natin ang pakikipagsama sa mga ganito mong kaibigan? Now, the husband willingly accepted the opinion and suggestion of the wife, and he really tried to distance himself from his old bad friends, which he may not have seen pero nakita ng kanyang asawa. So this is another way how we can redevelop a new family culture. If the husband continue to insist on the wife, who are you to judge my friends? Who are you to judge me? And why are you telling me to control my life? If the husband insisted it that way, they would have never made their marriage successful. But dahil they tried to meet up on the center by trying to understand one another, listen, accept the suggestion, and trying the other person understand why you're saying that stuff, why you're saying that things, and to build a new culture, they really let go of their old bad habits. That is how a marriage must be. So may physical na unity between isang lalaki and isang babae. That is marriage. And that physical unity is in the form of sex. Now, sex is a very holy, it is a gift of God given only under the context of marriage. And God wants to see the husband and the wife unite to be one flesh physically through sex, but not only just ending as a physical desire to be united together, but to unite psychologically, spiritually, emotionally. Sex is not a shameful word. It is not malicious. Kaso nga lang, ang nangyayari ngayon sa mundo, dahil sa ating makasalanang paningin, makasalanan, when we say sex, it becomes very something na nakakahiya pag-usapan. It becomes something bastos. And why has been that way? Because we're using the sex in the context of releasing our desires and lust. And we're using sex outside the marriage, kaya nakahiya. Ang bastos na talaga tingnan. You know, between husband and wife, you need to build a strong unity. You need to have a good sex life. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 4, the wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Not all the time women are in the mood for sex. So we might be physically tired, we might not be emotionally ready for it. In that case, you have to gently tell your husband that you are not able to fulfill the bedroom desires of him. And your sexual activity must be only centered and given and revolving around your spouse. There are so many broken families around us. Lahat ng reason nila, most of it, 99% of the reason is because of sex. Because you don't honor sex to be a holy gift na binigay ng Diyos sa mga mag-asawa lang, kaya nagkakaroon ng mga unwanted sexual desires and activity outside the marriage. That becomes another reason for broken families. Madalas, sa mga babae, once we become a mother, our focus tends to be towards our children. I think we're just really born that way. Especially when you have a newly born or a baby, they do need our full focus and attention. However, don't forget that even though you have a newborn baby, your priority in life must be your spouse, ang iyong asawa. If the husband and wife, they unite together as one body, even the hardest nights na walang tulog sa pag-aalaga sa bagong sanggol, it would not be so physically torturing as when you are just alone, away from the love and affection and care of your spouse. Children who has loving parents, they tend to have very, very high self-dignity, high self-image, and high self-confidence. Dahil alam nila, sila ay resulta ng isang pagmamahal. It may not be perfect. It makes them feel like they have been wanted and needed and loved. And that's what children really want and need. Some may be a single parent, or you may have had children out of wedlock, or mga hindi ka nais-nais sa mga nangyari nung nakaraan. I am not here to judge or condemn or make you feel like you have no hope, but really, we can still help our children have a healthy image of themselves when we restore back the biblical view of marriage, which we may not be right now in. First of all, even as a single mother, you still need to learn to prioritize your new family. Now it's going to be you and your children more than the way you prioritize and depend on your original family, which is you and your parents. So simply said, if you're a single mother, instead of always acting like a baby in front of your children towards your parent, na ikaw ay palagi humihingi ng tulong ng iyong mga magulang, you now really have to learn to stand up independent because you have your now new family, which is you and ang inyong anak. Hindi tayo palagi nagpapakaawa sa ating mga magulang dahil sa ating situation. Stand to be a responsible mother, independent mother, strong mother, moreover that you're alone, have a proper understanding of what a healthy marriage must be. You may have an incomplete family structure, but that does not make them any less. Because at one point, they were still the gift that God gave you out of the love that you had towards your ex-spouses. To all the parents, tell your children, no matter what your life situation is, how much your children are precious to you. Tell your children how loved and needed and wanted they are. I encourage you once again, as we end our fourth day today, that as a healthy family, let us try to unite between husband and wife. That is the start of having a healthy family. Let us stand stronger. Let us be independent. Let us be responsible because we are a mother. And let's end this session by saying together, Jesus, I am a mother. So thank you once again. See you all my beautiful happy moms next week. Take care. Bye.